dating is hard in your 40s. Especially since I got married, it's been hard. But it's much easier to go on dates if you go to conferences. So I went to Las Vegas on a conference. What happens in Vegas? Goes on YouTube. So my wife said to me, what happened in Vegas? Now I'm pretty sure those are not the rules. You're not supposed to ask what happened in Vegas. And if I were to tell my wife what happened in Vegas, not that I'm saying anything did happen in Vegas, then she has to call the divorce lawyers and file for divorce immediately, right? So why would I tell the truth? One word: Cosmopolitan magazine. That didn't get a laugh the last time either. One word. But I read Cosmopolitan magazine, and they say it's not the lying that the women hate. It's not the cheating the women hate. It's the lying. So this is scientific information, and I'm a rational person. So I said, I'll tell you what happened in Vegas. In Vegas, I kissed a girl, and I liked it. Now, I'm here to tell you that Cosmopolitan magazine can't always be trusted. Because it might not be the cheating that they like, but they don't like the cheating either. So I was listening to this podcast, and a woman said she was on Facebook, and she was flirting with this ex-boyfriend on Facebook, and she got caught. And her husband found out. That's what being caught means. And she said, my husband said the most amazing thing to me. He said to me, what do you get from him that you don't get from me? And I thought, that is a great question. You know, I'm a facilitator. Questions are important to me. If you ask the right question, this is a great question. And this woman said, you know, I realized then that he loved me. I closed my Facebook account. I never went onto Facebook ever again. So I got home, and my wife was in the bath on Facebook, on her iPhone, which is a bad idea. And as I came in, she put the phone down. And she said, you know, I've spent the whole afternoon with my friend Marisa drinking wine and talking about sex. So look, I was born in the morning, but not yesterday morning. So I immediately poured her a glass of wine. And I said, you know, I've noticed we've been having a lot more sex lately than normal. She said, oh, you noticed that, did you? I said, yeah, we guys notice these sort of subtle things. She said, I said, what's happening? She said, oh, nothing's happening. I said, come on, what's happening? She said, nothing. You know, Erich, you always said, sex is important in a relationship. You should prioritize sex. I said, you're right. I'm glad you agree with that. What caused you to do that now? She said, I've been flirting with an ex-boyfriend on Facebook. Oh. So I asked the question, right? What do you get from him that you don't get from me? And she said, with him, I feel desired. You know, it's a great question until you have to listen to the answer. She said, you know, with him, I'm a slightly middle-aged woman now. I'm slightly overweight. I've had 3 children. And he loves me for me. And you have to love me because you married me. You are contractually obliged to love me. So it turns out Esther Perel wrote this book called Mating in Captivity. And it's about sex in marriage. And essentially what it's about, they're talking about, she's essentially saying that sex is like being in a zoo. Like marriage is about being in a zoo because it's mating in captivity. And that's why people hate cheaters, because the cage you're in when you're married is completely imaginary. And when people are cheating, hey, he got out of his cage. How did he do that? And we're reminded that in fact the cage is completely imaginary. And when we get married, what we do is we throw a big party. It's called a bachelor's party, and it's essentially a kind of a funeral for our sex life, right? It's a wake. And we invite the people we'd like to have sex with, but we haven't had sex with yet. We get completely drunk, so the next morning we don't know if we've had sex with them or not. So I said to my wife, I said, look, you know, she said, look, I'm going to go and see this guy. Oh, fair enough. But I was a bit nervous. I was a bit jealous, to be honest. And I said to her, look, are you going to leave me for this guy? She said, don't be ridiculous. He lives in Boksburg. The commute is impossible. And anyway, his house is way too small for me and the kids. I said, you know, you've thought about this in a distressing amount of detail. So I'm here from the future to tell you, if you do get married, Number one, do not ask what happened in Vegas. And number two, talk about what monogamy means. You know, talk about what sex means, talk about what marriage means, so that you don't have to lie. All right, where's the couch ninja? That's for you.
Thank you, Erich. Okay.